Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolutely wild story of C. Sivasankaran, a man who built a billion-dollar empire. He reached the absolute peak of wealth and then, boom, lost it all. His journey from titan to bankrupt is honestly one of the most compelling business stories you'll ever hear. Just to wrap our heads around the kind of money we're talking about, let's start with this number, 3,550 crores. That was the value of the largest single check Sivasankaran ever wrote from his personal account. That alone puts him in a totally different league.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? His life is a masterclass in both unbelievable success and, well, catastrophic failure. So let's get into it. Let's unpack how it all happened, starting with his incredible rise to the top.
Okay, first up, let's take a look at the empire he actually built. It was massive, spanning dozens of industries, from tech all the way to coffee, and it was all driven by this one simple but really powerful philosophy. He was behind more than 48 companies. And think about the impact here. He made computers accessible with Sterling, he launched one of India's very first mobile networks with Aircel, he basically introduced coffee shop culture with Barista, and he even laid the undersea internet cables that connect India to the rest of the world. He was a truly pivotal force in shaping the country's modern economy.
And this right here, this tells you everything you need to know about what drove him. For Sivasankaran, work was never just a job, it was an obsession. It was his passion. He once said that when you work for success, it just becomes your way of life. This wasn't just business for him, it was pretty much his entire existence.
His influence got so big that a chance meeting with Ratan Tata in a hotel in Singapore just blossomed into this deep, professional relationship. That just speaks volumes about the level he was playing at, right?
And this really gives you a sense of his reputation as a master strategist. For 7 years, he held a 7:15 a.m. meeting every single day to advise the CEOs of the Tata Group. The guy just had this uncanny ability to spot mistakes and figure out how to 10x profitability.
But you know how these stories go. At the absolute height of his power, a series of events, really a combination of one bad decision and a principled stand, it all led to this dramatic and complete collapse. Just look at this. The contrast is staggering. He went from owning private islands in the Seychelles and living in a 71-bedroom, 524 crore mansion to filing for bankruptcy and having to sell every single asset just to pay off his debts. So what happened? Well, one huge factor was a single catastrophic business decision. He signed a financial guarantee for a telecom company, basically promising to cover their investment if the government ever canceled their license. He's brutally honest about it, he just admits it was a moment of pure foolishness.
And the other part of it was a matter of principle. See, when the Supreme Court did cancel those licenses as part of the 2G scam, Sivasankaran became the key whistleblower. He says that decision cost him everything, made him powerful enemies, and forced him to pay out that massive guarantee. In his mind, he paid the price for doing the right thing.
But what happened next is, for me, the most powerful part of his whole story. It's his mindset when he was faced with total financial ruin. This is where the real lesson really begins.
And this distinction is absolutely crucial. Sivasankaran never, ever saw himself as poor. He was just broke. You see, for him, being broke is a temporary financial state that you can change. Being poor, well, that's a permanent state of mind that you just accept, and he was not going to accept it.
He has these incredible analogies for looking at failure. He doesn't see it as the end of the road, but as a necessary transformation. For him, adversity isn't about destruction, it's a process that creates something even more valuable.
It's the exact same idea, right? His financial ruin was like sour grapes, just the raw material for something even greater. And this whole philosophy, this is what fueled his comeback plan from the very start.
This is just incredible resilience. The very same day he filed for bankruptcy, he didn't waste a second on self-pity. He actually sat down and mapped out his next moves. His focus wasn't on what he'd lost, it was all about what he was going to build next.
So what are the real actionable lessons we can take away from his journey? Well, he lays out a clear and, you might be surprised, a very simple playbook for anyone who wants to build something great.
He truly believes that all business success for the last 50 years just boils down to this simple 3-step formula. Find a problem, create a solution, and then absolutely over-deliver on your promise. It's as simple as that.
And he gives some very direct advice for the younger generation. Choose your circle wisely, because their level is going to determine yours. You have to set clear goals. Take relentless action. You have to master finance. Cash flow is king. And above all, you have got to protect your health.
And here's a stark, pretty sobering reminder about the reality of failure. This really drives home why self-reliance and just an unbreakable mindset are so critical. Because when things go wrong, you are very likely going to find yourself on your own. So, finally, after all of this, what is the single biggest takeaway from a life of such extreme highs and lows? Well, it all really boils down to one powerful idea.
This is the absolute core of his entire philosophy. Success, failure, the comeback, it all begins and ends with your own decision to act. Nobody is coming to save you. The moment you decide to take full control of your own destiny is the moment you win.
Sivasankaran believes the most successful people are driven by what he calls a moving ambition. The second they hit one goal, they're already setting the next one. They never, ever stop moving forward. So the question he leaves us with is a really simple one. What's your next goal?